tourism and hospitality industry. So basically we have two ministries that are falling under our portfolio committee in Parliament. That is the Ministry of Environment and also the Ministry of Tourism. So basically what we've been doing in Parliament is our oversight role in terms of making sure that we keep the executive to task. For example, in terms of bringing bills to Parliament, the residents have been complaining, citizens have been complaining, stakeholders have been complaining about the slow process that has been happening in Parliament in terms of lawmaking process. So what happens is that the executive has to bring the bills to Parliament. For example, my committee is waiting for the climate change bill that we're expecting the executive to gazette maybe in the few months to come. So before the gazetting of the bill as a committee, there's nothing we can do. We can only summon the minister or the ministry to appear before the committee to give us timelines, to update us, on the progress that they've done in terms of drafting the bills. So before drafting, really, there isn't much that we can do besides pushing them and making effort to make sure that the government, central government, brings the bills to the committee. So now, what we are considering is the Parks and Wildlife Amendment Bill that was gazetted on the 19th of April by the Ministry of Environment. So this is the one we are currently considering. Last week we had a stakeholders meeting in the committee. We also had the ministry appearing before the committee to explain, to elaborate to the members of Parliament to understand, this amendment bill, because we had an act, the Parks and Wildlife Act, that was enacted in 1975. So now the executive intends or proposes to amend, the act. So this is why they brought up the amendment bill. So this is what we are currently considering. So most probably we are going to start our public hearings very soon. After consulting with the stakeholders, we go to all the 10 provinces to hear what different stakeholders say about the amendment bill, the Parks and Wildlife Amendment Bill.
Okay, so recently in Parliament, I think that was on Monday, you said that you were opposing the construction of a stadium in Victoria Falls. Why is that, and what impact do you think it's having in terms of wildlife and also the environment?
Yeah, I think as a member of Parliament and also as the chairperson of the Environment Committee, we have a duty and obligation to make sure that we safeguard our environment. We also conserve our wildlife. So basically what I stood up to say in Parliament as a point of privilege was that the first thing is we are not opposing to development, infrastructural development. We love it. We love the recreational spaces where our young people can go to the stadiums and engage in different activities. But for us, as a committee and also as a member of Parliament who is concerned about the environment, we are saying that this is not an ideal location for a multi-purpose stadium. There are a lot of places in Matabeleland North. If the idea is to bring it closer to Victoria Falls, fair enough. There are other places in Matabeleland North where we can still have the stadium. If it's outside Matabeleland North, there are a lot of other 9 provinces where we can also have, the stadium. So basically, Victoria Falls has vast wildlife, and we wouldn't want to disturb, the conservation processes that are happening in Victoria Falls, particularly the loss, of habitat. We've been struggling with the human-wildlife conflict in Victoria Falls, where the wildlife, one, because of climate change, because of drought, wildlife is actually moving, to the human settlements. So we wouldn't want, a lot of infrastructural development that can take up, the space where wildlife is supposed to be, habiting. So this is exactly what I was praying to the Honourable Speaker to say. We would want the Minister to come to Parliament, propose and also elaborate on the plan on what really they intend to do in terms of this multi-purpose stadium in Victoria Falls.
As a lawmaker, what should be done to mining companies that are polluting rivers and dams, causing harm to people and the wildlife?
Yeah, that's a very brilliant question. So basically, what has been, like what I said yesterday at the World Press Freedom Day, is to say we all have a role to play, the parliamentarians and also the citizens. For example, as journalists, you have a role to play to actually expose, what has been happening in different communities. So number one, I encourage those who are living in communities where people are committing environmental crimes to bring forth petitions to parliament, because sometimes as parliamentarians you might not be aware of what is happening, because already it's a crime. It's clear in our laws that we must not be polluting, and also we must not be deforesting. This is just an example. But for us as a committee, or for us as parliament, to actually know what is happening, it also takes the citizens, to play their role, to make sure that they bring those issues to our table. So I want to encourage you as journalists to expose the people who are committing environmental crimes. In actual fact, I'm going to move a motion next week on the proposals of bringing in environmental courts in Zimbabwe. We don't have that. So it means that if a crime, an environmental crime has been committed, when you go to the magistrate courts, it doesn't become a priority. So we want the environmental crimes to be prioritized in the courts. So you find that even prosecution would take long, because we don't have people who are specialized lawyers, who are specialized in environmental crimes, and also even the magistrates. So it's something that we are also putting in place as a committee, and also as a lawmaker who is passionate about environmental issues. So these are some of the ways that we can work together, the community and also the lawmakers, to bring those people who are committing such environmental crimes to account.
Thank you.